Well, hello everyone. My name is Rick Passek, FlyFish Fanatic, and welcome to my tying bench. Today, a fairly simple little dubbing leech. It's fairly simple. Just wanted to show a couple of little tricks and tactics for, especially for the beginners that don't do this very often. So, I thought I'd show you guys a couple of different dubbing brushes that I use as well. So let's get on with that. So. It's just your simple dubbing brush you can buy at any fly shop, right? And I just add Velcro to the back end of it to help pull out material. Then there's these that you can pick up as well. They're a bodkin / dubbing brush. It's got wire in there. Stonefo makes this one. It's got a little comb on one end and a Velcro brush on the other, which is nice because you can get into that hook gap really nicely. Certain dubbings that are a little bit more like have more hair in it, like rabbits and that kind of stuff, like furrier. I like using an actual wire brush, like a barbecue brush or a electrical brush. Stu Thompson's dark water dubbing, as an example, is have to use these, and it works beautifully. And then probably my favorite is the old popsicle stick with Velcro on it. You can just always change that as the Velcro gets dull. This one I can feel is starting to get dull, so it's time to change. Let's get her going. Let's move on. So today, it's a Hens BL 724 in a size 10. I'll tie this fly in an 8, 10, 12, 14. And it's going to be basically one material besides the bead. That's just a Chartreuse 532 bead period. It's not tungsten. I'm going to use some of the semi-seal in black and in red, and I've already combined them. I've already made my own mix, and what I've done is I've taken my my good old coffee grinder, right, and threw some of the Semperfli ice dubbing in with it, and this is the blend you come up with. Right, so you got this nice little blacky red blend with that real nice red flash in it. Alrighty, gonna use some Semperfli NanoSilk in black, 12-aught. Like I said, fairly simple fly. The key here is to make sure you get the tail tied in really well, because the fish will. That's obviously where the fish attack first, and it can get pulled out if you don't have it tied in well, right? So. I got so much crap on my desk, it's picking up all kinds of other fibers, but it'll get all hidden. So now, I've taken just a chunk out of that, and I've kind of made a little bit of I've aligned my fibers by pulling them apart, right? Pull and stack. And then I'm going to just make a little bit of a package like that. And at the midpoint here, roughly, I'm just going to tie that in. And I'm going to fold that over and tie it on top of it. And there's my tail, nice and tight. And I mean, I'm moving my whole vise here. I can't pull that out. Right now, there's going to be some of those longer Semperfli ice dub. Just give it a little bit of a nip. You're not going to actually see it anyway once this is all finished. So, okay. Now I'm going to come forward here, create a dubbing loop, come all the way back on top of that piece that that bump that I created there, yeah, there, about there, and come back. Then I take my dubbing spinner. Now again, this is another thing. You can go out and buy those expensive ones that you can spin with your thumb. You can go out and buy the ones that just look kind of like almost like a whip finisher with a hook on it. I really prefer these. They're just a tiny little thing. Keeps the material spread apart nicely, and you can adjust that. Nice and heavy. I don't know. They're cheap, and they're just something the ones I've always gravitated to. And I've had every one under the sun. And these are just the ones I always seem to grab for. So the ones I like. So, but that's up to you. So now a little bunch at a time. Make sure it's stacked. Just a little bunch, and then I'll put a second little bunch in here. Don't want to overdo it here, otherwise you end up with a big clunky leech, and that's not what you want here. So, and I'm just going to pull that out a bit just to spread it, Give that a really good spin. I can always add a little bit more at the very front if I happen to run out, but I know just from experience that this will be fine. So now I take my dubbing brush, and again, I always gravitate to my little guy here, and I'm just gonna pull some of these fibers out. I want this to be nice and bushy, right? One wrap right there, and then start touching wraps forward. Stroke it back. And then right at the front here, I like doing at least 2 wraps. I kind of got a feel for it, so I'd probably need 1 more in there. Maybe not. No, I'm not gonna. Otherwise, sometimes you'll end up with this bulk in the front and it looks silly, or you'll end up pulling out a bunch and that looks silly. But if you pull out a bunch, you can always reattach your thread and put some in. So now I'm just front, behind, making sure that this is tied in really well. Hold your thread out of the way with your finger, nip nice and close. Again, a couple turns. Then I'm going to take some sallies. Just put a little bit of sallies right on your thread there. Take your whip finisher. 1 set of whip finishes. 2nd set of whip finishes. I always do at least 2 on these leeches because I'm going to be pretty aggressive here pulling out this fibers. So in case I happen to pull 1 set out, I still got that backup set, and I almost always put the sallies on that first set because I know that one's the one that's going to be there for sure. It's not going to pull out. So let's test these different dubbing brushes. So this is the Stoneful one. Yeah, it pulls out pretty good, right? And now this is an old one, so it doesn't pull as aggressively anymore because that's been worn out. I know this is worn out, so I won't even try that. It's worn out to a certain point. Let's try this one here. Yeah, that works actually pretty good, right? So, and you can get right in there, and that's the nice thing. You can get right in that hook gap and pull that stuff out. Like I said, I know this one works, but again, this one's the Velcro is worn. And then there's your barbecue brush, right? So, but in general, I think I prefer my popsicle stick, and you can really get aggressive with this and get in there and pull that stuff out, so you can almost, not quite, but almost see the hook again, right? So, and just stroke that all back. And that's not looking too bad at all. I could do a little bit more, and I probably will after the video here, but that's the finished fly. Like I said, you could pull out a little bit more so that underbody isn't quite as thick, but you don't really need to. To be honest, I don't think I've ever used this wire one. I think this is the first time. I just I don't like where it's placed. If that would have been at the front, it would have been better, but it actually works pretty well. So there you go. So, and if you want it more black, put more black in it. If you want it more red, put more red in it. If you want black flash, Semperfli makes this exact same stuff in black. So that's the nice thing about doing it yourself, especially for you guys, you beginners. I know most of the guys that have been doing it for a while, they blend their own, but just get a little coffee grinder, throw the dubbing into there, throw your flash into there, and pulsate. Just bzz, bzz, bzz. Don't let it run because it won't do much. Just pulsate it, and it gives you that nice mix. Like I said, this took literally 2 pulses to make, right? And you get that really nice mix in there, right? So, alrighty. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that one. If you did, thumbs up. If you've subscribed, thank you. If you have not, please consider doing so. We've done the 1,500 person subscriber draw. The next one's at 2,000, so let's spread it around. 2,000 will be a little bit bigger than the last one, and then 2,500 is going to be a big draw. So it'll be a bunch of tying materials and stuff. So, alrighty. Hope you guys enjoyed. Tie lines.